You want to come to Canada. Probably it's part of your New Year goals, it's part of your dream, but you don't know where to start. You don't know how to start. You don't know how to achieve it. It's a lot of things. It's cumbersome. You're just confused. This video is for you. Before I begin, I want to make it clear. I am not in any way a licensed immigration expert or consultant. Every information shared here is based on research and based on my experience and is solely for information purposes only. Immigration laws and programs changes frequently, so I would strongly recommend that you verify majorly on the official Canadian website or you seek the help of a licensed consultant. I am therefore not liable for any decisions you make based on this information, so do your due diligence. Now, you want to come to Canada and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to start. I agree with you that the Canadian immigration system can be cumbersome. When I mean cumbersome, it's a lot. There are a lot of streams, there are a lot of pathways, there are a lot of things to get and put together, documentations, and every other thing. And as a result of this video would be in parts. So I would advise you to follow through the journey. In this particular video, I'll be taking them one after the other. So this video will just be addressing one of those things you need to do. And the next video will address another one like that. So it will be in parts. It will be a series of journey. Make sure you follow through to the end. The first thing that you need to do if you need to come into Canada is to research the best immigration pathway that is suitable for you. There are a lot of immigration pathways, and each day, each year, new streams are being opened. And the major streams I'll be talking about in this video are the express entry stream, the provincial nomination stream, the family sponsorship, the study permit, and also the work visa. Now, it's important for you to know the particular stream that is best for you, that is suitable for you, so that you won't be confused. You can't just apply for everything randomly and then they would refuse or reject your applications. So it's good for you to know which one is best for you, which one is suitable for you, and that way you would be able to narrow your energy. You would not be aphasad. You won't be here and there, confused, not knowing what to do. You would be able to narrow and channel your energy to the right one for you, and that way it would also help and aid in the approval of your visa because you are doing it right, isn't it? Now let's talk about the first one, which is the express entry. Now, in case you see me looking down, just know that I'm trying to go through my laptop to be sure that I'm passing the right information across to you. Now, talking about the express entry. The express entry is ideal for skilled workers, and candidates are ranked basically using the CRS, which is the Comprehensive Ranking System. And this is what they do. My score is different from your score because they will judge based on some factors like your age, your education, your work experience, your language ability, and some other factors. Now, for age, the highest points are awarded to applicants between the age of 20 and 29. After the age of 29, the points begin to reduce incrementally with each year. Once you reach the age of 45, you receive 0 points for age. Your age would determine the score that you would have. And also talking about the years of experience, the same thing. The more your years of experience, the more score that will be allotted to you. Education, PhD, we have higher score than the Masters. Masters, we have higher score than BSc. BSc, we have higher scores than Diploma, and like that. So all of this is just, the score will be allotted based on what you have, based on your number of experience, based on your age, based off also language ability. That is where they test you using IELTS and other ones that they use. If it is French, English and French. Canada is bilingual, right? English and French. So you can decide to use English. If your score is, if you're not meeting up with the score, you can decide to also write French. It would add to your score. And every other things which we would see, I would share the link. You can also go through the description of this video and you would see some other links, some of these links. And it's important that you do the research by yourself. because what I'll be sharing in this video is just the general, the peripheral, which is general to everybody. It will not be tailored specifically to what would suit you. It's important that you do your own research, go through the links that would be attached to the description of those videos, and do due diligence as to what pertains to you. If you're considering the express entry stream, the first thing to do is to go on your browser and type "Come to Canada 2." Just type "Come to Canada 2" and you would see the "Come to Canada 2." This is, do you want to come to Canada or extend your stay? Yeah, so just click on that and you would see the "Come to Canada 2." You'll be able to check your eligibility to be sure that you are eligible, right? It would ask you some questions. From there, you can see answer a few questions to find out what immigration program you can apply for. Each immigration program has different application and eligibility requirements. So it will just take 10 to 15 minutes of your time. That's the first thing you need to do. It would help you to know which of this program you are eligible for. If it's the express entry, if it's the provincial nomination, if it is the student visa, if it is the family sponsorship or the work visa. So just take your time. You'll be asked questions about your nationality, your age, your language ability, family members, education, work experience, income or networks, then details on any job offer. Just click on check your eligibility and it would ask you, you can see all these questions, take time to go through it, and it would help you in deciding what to do first. So that being said, another thing I want to talk about under the express entry is that now you have decided that the express entry is for you, or you want to be sure if the express entry is for you. This is the link for the express entry. Just come to your browser and type the express entry Canada. And remember, all of this, I would attach the link in the description of this video. So just type express entry Canada and go to the official Canadian website, which is usually the first one that will pop up when you click. And this is it. Express Entry is an online system that we use to manage immigration applications from skilled workers. I said it earlier, it's majorly for the skilled workers. And there are 3 immigration programs through this. So take your time to go through it. All of these are well spelled out. If you determine or you dedicate your time to going through it, to research, you would understand all of this better. So there are 3 immigration programs under this, which is the Canadian Experience Class, the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trade Programs. And what this means is the Canadian Experience Class are those that are already in Canada and have Canadian experience. You can go through the express entry to get your PR. If you are a Federal Skilled Worker, probably you're not in Canada, whatever country you are in, but you're a skilled worker, you are into the health sector, you are into the law firm, you are into finance, all these skilled works, then this is for you. And then Federal Skilled Trade Programs are things like all this electrician or trade works and works, right? Things that you can do. And these are the skilled trade programs. So you can also fall into the express entry, like you can make use of the express entry. Now, how it works: create a profile, enter the pool, we'll invite the candidate with the most points, and this is the points I was talking about. The points will be given based on age, work experience, your education, your language proficiency, and other things. If you have a spouse, your spouse will also accrue some points for you, and every other thing. So there are other things. Just take your time and go through it. It's easy if you decide to dedicate your time. And this is where you will see all of those things. If you just click who can apply, it would explain to you the 3 immigration programs that you have. You see, Canadian Experience is for skilled workers with eligible Canadian work experience. The Federal Skilled are those with foreign or Canadian work experience, but those with, this is it, those with degree, diploma, apprenticeship training. And then the skilled trade programs, who are those that fall under this category. They are construction, transportation, manufacturing, and industrial, then natural resources and agriculture. These are the people that fall under the skilled trade sectors. So it's easy. Take your time to go through it and you would see all of that. So if you want to check your score, you come here. This is the CRS calculator that I am talking about. It would ask you some question. Are you married? Select married. It would ask you further questions. Is your spouse a permanent resident of Canada? Yes or no? Just put it there. Will your spouse come with you to Canada? Yes or no? So at the end of the day, you'll be able to know what your score, like you know the average score, you know what your score would be like. And then, so it just explain what CRS score is. It assesses the skill, education, language ability, work experience, and other factors. And then going through it, you can also check to see the documents that would be required for you to apply through the express entry route. And these are some of the documents. Here's my cursor. Okay, your passport or travel documents, which must have 6 months, at least 6 months validity. Your language test results, proof of Canadian education, that's the ECA. And this I will talk in another video when I'm talking about the documents that you will need. That is where I would elaborate on all of this. So take time to go through the series of video that I would be dropping. Now, another thing needed is a written job offer from an employer in Canada. If you have one, that means it's not compulsory, but if you have it, it would also give you more points. Proof of work experience, certificate of qualification in the trade or the skill that you are in, proof of fund, police certificate, provincial nomination if you applied for provincial nomination. So if you applied for provincial nomination, that will also give you additional points, which I will talk about in this same video, but the next immigration pathway. All right. So after getting all your documents, create your profile. Just click here, create your profile, and then you can see just sign up, sign in, sign up, and every other thing. Create your profile. You would know your score, and then apply for the PR. Then, after you have applied, you wait for them to pick you from the pool, and then you get your permanent residency. There are a lot of things for you to do, especially when your score is not meeting up with the desired score. That is where you can try to work on. Probably your IELTS score is low, or it's not giving you enough points for the CRS. You can try to write your IELTS. You can gain more work experience, because the more the number of work experience, the more your points. You can try to secure a job from a Canadian employer. If you have a job offer, that's additional points. You can try to write the French language proficiency test. If you have that, it will give you more points. You can seek provincial nomination, because with provincial nomination, it will also give you additional 600 points. And this will take me to the next pathway that is available, which is the provincial nomination pathway. And the provincial nomination pathway is a Canadian immigration program that allows provinces and territories to nominate individuals for permanent residency based on the specific needs of their local markets and communities. So based on the specific needs of each province, they would select candidates that they are going to offer PR to work for them in that province to meet up with the deficiency of the province. Now, most Canadian provinces and territories have their own PNP, and I would list them on the screen so you can see them and see the name. Now, if you have applied for PR through the express entry pool and probably you did not get enough points, it's important that you also try the provincial nomination program, because when a province picks you, it will give you additional 600 points. And in fact, that is enough to give you an edge over others. And then you would get your nomination certificate, your provincial nomination certificate, and use it to apply for the PR, and you would be picked from the pool and given your Canadian permanent residency. Now, for the province of Alberta, their provincial nomination program is the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. Just see them on the screen. British Columbia has theirs, Manitoba has theirs, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, which I am in, that's the PEI Provincial Nominee Program. Saskatchewan has the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. Yukon has Yukon Nominee Program. The Northwest Territories have their own Northwest Territories Nominee Program. Quebec does not participate in PNP because it has its own immigration system, right? Each province and territory offers multiple immigration streams tailored to different categories of applicants. For example, they have the skilled worker stream, international graduate stream, entrepreneurs or business owners, healthcare professionals, semi-skilled professionals, then those coming from the express entry stream. The key requirement varies by the stream and the province. Each province has different requirements. The age majorly is between the ages of 21 to 55 years of age. Work experience, make sure you're experienced in the relevant field that they need. Then education, you have to go through the ECA, the Educational Credential Assessment, which I'll talk about in my next video. Language proficiency, you have to have a proof of proficiency in English or French. Job offer, not compulsory, but some streams, some will require you to have a job offer in the province. You have to intend to reside in that province. Like if a province is offering you a nomination, it means that you have the intent to reside in that province, not that after a while you decide to leave them after you've gotten your PR, you now decide to relocate or shift from that province to another province. So you should show an intention to reside in that province and also proof of sufficient funds to settle in Canada. Okay, so if based off of the lists of the provinces and the names that I showed you on the screen earlier on, if you want to go for any of the province, just come to your Chrome and type the province that you want to apply for. For example, that of Alberta is the Alberta Immigration Program. That of British Columbia is the British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program. So let's start with that of Alberta. I won't show you all, but I'll just show you an example. Just type Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. And usually the first one that comes out is the official page. So alberta.ca, and here it is. You can take your time to go through it, and you would see how to apply. Take your time to go through each province's nomination page, and then you would see the one that has something for you. Probably a skilled worker, health worker, construction, this and that. You will see that province that needs what you can offer, and then you would go for it. That's your best shot, and that's where I would stop on the pathway, provincial nomination pathway. Let's go to the third pathway. I have talked about the express entry pathway. I've talked about the provincial nomination pathway. Now coming to the third pathway that I'll be talking about in this video, which is the family sponsorship. The family sponsorship is a program offered by the Canadian government that allows Canadian citizens or permanent residents to sponsor eligible family members to immigrate to Canada. The program aims to reunite families, and it is part of Canada's broader immigration system. It's not just anybody that can sponsor family members, and it is not just any family members that can be sponsored. For you to be able to sponsor any of your family members, you must be a Canadian resident, that's a permanent resident, or a Canadian citizen. And that's not the only thing. That's just one of the requirements. Another requirement is that you must be at least 18 years old. That means you must be an adult. Another one is that you should prove that you can financially support the person you are sponsoring with their basic needs, such as food, housing, medical care, if they are not covered by the health insurance. Okay. That thing is that you must not have certain criminal convictions unless a record suspension has been granted. To make it easy, let's just see all of these requirements from the Canadian site so that you will know it's not just mere say, it's from the site. So just come to your Chrome and type family sponsorship Canada. right? The first one, canada.ca, you can see the first one with that canada.ca is usually the main site. So just go for that, and then you will see sponsor your family members. You can see sponsor your spouse, partner, or dependent. These are the people you can sponsor: your spouse, your partner, or your dependent. Sponsor your relative, sponsor your adopted child, sponsor your parents and grandparents. Now, let's see it one after the other, because it's not just anybody you can sponsor, right? So I'm just right-clicking to open a new tab. Coming to sponsor your spouse, partner, or child. About the process: if you're eligible, you can sponsor your spouse, your partner, or dependent children to become permanent residency if you can support them financially and make sure they don't need assistance from the government. And this is where you check if you are eligible. You can see the eligibility criteria here. You must be 18 years, you must be a citizen and a permanent resident of Canada, and every other thing. If you live outside Quebec, I won't take time to read this, but I expect you to go through it if that is what you want to file for. So take your time to just go through the criterias. Then who can sponsor? Just click on it. Those that can sponsor: legally married to you, that's if it's your spouse, legally married to you at least 18 years, and then go through. Okay, I won't start reading everything now. How to apply, just click on that and you would see how you can apply. Just take your time to read it, because if I should start explaining everything after the other, this video is going to be a long one. And remember, this is just part one. There's another thing to talk about in the next video. All right, so that's what you will do for each of them. If it's your relative, and if it's your relative that you want to sponsor, just come to sponsor your relative, and then you can see everything you need to know. You can see who can sponsor, you can see who you can sponsor, you can see how to apply. After you apply, then prepare for arrival. Everything, it's in each of them. If it is the you want to sponsor an adopted child, so just go through the documents here. You can see who can apply, how to apply. After you apply, the arrival. And for each of them, the cost of application is usually attached. So for a sponsor, if you want to sponsor an adopted child, it's 170 Canadian dollars. Now, to sponsor your parents or grandparents, 2024 intake closed. We're in 2025 already. All right, so just take time to go through it. Right? And the starting price is from 1,205. Take time to go through it and you will see everything you need to see. What it means to be a sponsor, check if you are eligible, who you can sponsor, submit your interest to sponsor, find out if you are invited to apply, how to apply, and everything. It's all there. It's all there. So to save time, let's go to the next one. So in summary, what this family sponsorship is that you have somebody in Canada that is already a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen that can sponsor you. And you must be eligible to be sponsored also, not just anybody. You must be eligible to be sponsored. So that's what that is all about. Okay, going to the fourth immigration pathway. Remember, I talked about express entry, provincial nomination, and the family sponsorship. The fourth one I'll be talking about is a study permit. The Canadian study permit is an official document issued by the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, the IRCC, that allows foreign nationals to study at designated learning institutions, DLIs, in Canada. So this is how it works. To apply for study permit, you must have an acceptance letter from the designated learning institutions, DLI. That means you must have applied for the school that interests you, and then they would give you an admission letter, which is the acceptance letter. Also, you must demonstrate that you can pay your tuition fee. That is proof of financial support. You have enough living expenses, you have enough money for the living expenses, then enough for transportation, like you have enough to help you stay in Canada. You need to have a clean criminal record, good health because you're going to do medical, intent to leave Canada after school. So this is what this means. If you're coming to study, it means that you're coming to study, and after your study, you're going back to your home country. But there are other ways to go about it if you want to stay in Canada. You can apply for postgraduate work permit, which would then lead to PR. But for your study visa means you are coming to study. And that means that after study, you are going back to your country. But you can always apply for other visas. Postgraduate work permits, which will lead to your PR, okay? For the application process, it's everything is majorly the same process. Go to your Chrome and type Study Visa Canada or Study Permit Canada. Study Permit Canada. And go to the official website. You need a provincial. So of recent, they started requesting for provincial attestation letter. Now, after you've gotten your letter, your acceptance letter, that province where your school is would also issue you a provincial attestation letter, Now, you have to apply with your provincial attestation letter. If not, you would be refused. Now, the study permit is a document that we issue that allows foreign nationals to study at designated learning institutions in Canada. You can see the fee, $150 Canadian. And then who can apply? Click on it, you see who can apply. Get the right documents, you see the documentations needed, how to apply, before you apply, prepare for your arrival, then why you study. Everything is there. I don't want to elongate this video, but take your time to do the research. So let me just see who can apply. You can come to Canada to study if you are enrolled at a DLI, at a designated learning institution. That means you have gotten an admission, right? You have to prove that you have enough money. I think these are things I have said before. You have to prove that you have no criminal record, that is, get a police certificate. You should be in good health because you do your medical examination. Prove that you would leave Canada when your study permit expires, and that is what I just explained. But if you think you want to stay, or if you want to stay in Canada, just try to apply for other kinds of visa, which would then lead to your permanent residency. Then you can see your responsibilities as a student and other considerations. Go to get the right documents. You would see the documents needed, proof of acceptance, P8L that I talked about, provincial attestation letter. Oh, I'm talking too much. Subscribe. This is a lot of information. Subscribe to this channel, like, send to your friends that also need this information, because this series, if you go through this series, then you would have informed decision as to what to do to come to Canada, right? So, how to apply. After you apply, prepare for your arrival, and also what to do while you study. Okay, and then the last one I'll talk about is the work permit. And now what the work permit does, work permit is a legal authorization issued by the IRCC. It allows foreign nationals to work in Canada for a specific period. And we have two types, right? We have the employer-specific work permit, which is the closed work permit, and then we have the open work permit. So the difference between the open work permit and the closed work permit is that if an employer decides to give you a job and then you get a job offer and you apply for the work permit, that work permit will be closed because this employer specifically picked you to give you the offer. So you are coming to work for this employer only. You are coming to work only for this employer. Now, if you are coming with your family, your wife, your husband, your wife or your husband would be given an open work permit, being that it's not an employer that gave the permit, right? It's okay. Let me explain it this way. For example, the husband got a job offer. The wife wants to come along with the husband. This is what they would do. It's the husband that has the job offer. That means the husband is liable to work for this company that's granted him the job offer. So that husband would be given the closed work permit, meaning it's closed. You can only work for that employer. Now the partner, which is the wife, that wants to come along with the husband would be given an open work permit, so that when she gets to Canada, she can then look for a job and work for any employer that employs her. So for the wife that is on open work permit, she can decide to resign from one employer and work with another employer, you understand? But that husband that is on closed work permit can only work for that employer, especially for the number of years that is in the contract. Okay, I think that is understandable. Yes. So that's just the difference between the open and the closed work permit. The closed work permit is employer specific. The open work permit, you can work with any employer. Now, to apply the same process that we've been talking about, just type Work Permit Canada, Work Permit Canada, and then the official website, the canada.ca website, and you would see everything that you need. Take your time. You see, something about Canada processes, and that's why Canada encourages you to do it yourself. Don't rely on agents. These are things you can do yourself if you give your time to it. Don't rely on agents. In fact, these agents will just take your money, and at the end of the day, they might not get the necessary information. My coming to Canada, I did everything by myself. Myself and my husband did it ourselves. So these are things you can do yourself if you dedicate your time to it. Okay. Now, coming to this page, find out if you need a work permit. Just explaining who needs a work permit and which permit is right for you. Like I explained, the difference between the open and the closed work permit. And take your time to go through it, okay? It's easy. Okay, there is also a tool here for you to go through. You answer a few questions and you'll be able to find if you need the work permit, okay? That of work permit is easy, especially because you need to get a job offer to apply for work permit. So now come to apply for work permit, and it will explain every other things that you need to know about the process. And this is where it explained about the employer specific work permit, which is the closed work permit, and everything you need to know. This is the open work permit. Since the open work permit lets you work for any employer in Canada, all right? While the closed work permit or employer specific work permit lets you work in Canada according to the conditions of your work permit. That's the name of a specific employer you can work for, how long you can work for that employer before you decide to probably resign and work for another employer, right? The location you can work. So based on the criteria or the conditions of your work permit. And then you can go to who can apply, how to apply, what to do after you apply, prepare for your arrival, and when you start working. In conclusion, you want to come to Canada. It is important that you know the best pathway for you. I have talked about these pathways in this particular video. In my next video, I will talk about another thing you need to do that is very important if you are intending to come to Canada. Now, I want you to do something for me. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share with your friends and other people that you know that this video would benefit. And also, if you have any question regarding what I have discussed in this video, make sure you ask in the comment section. I will do due diligence to respond to each comment as much as I have the grace. Thank you, and see you in my next video.